episode of Nain Shorts. First of all, apologize to those who have been keeping up because there wasn't an episode last week. We just, what stuff happens. Just don't give me that crap now. The point is, so we're still here. We're still training. We're still talking about everything that goes on behind the scenes in the training world. As we've discussed before, we try to make the training not just in the classroom, not just on the mat, but also extend out to the real world because that's where we're most likely going to need it, not in the class. Unless you're doing competition, that's a whole different aspect of it altogether, but we've discussed those before as well. And coming up this November 15th, the VEA in Manteca is having its second gathering of 8 instructors. Is going to be a lot of fun. It always is. Great food, great friends, and the raffles. The raffles are awesome. But also this particular year, not only will I be attending and participating in the other workshops, I will also be the head of one of them. I'll be one of the instructors this year for that event. Mike, thank you very much for the opportunity to do so. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's always been a lot of fun. I've done it once before, and it's going to be a great time. So I hope to see you there. If you haven't marked the calendar, again, that's November 15th in Manteca. Reach out to Mike Cardenas, who has all the pertinent details and information about that. Befriend him on Facebook, and he'll be able to give you more on the day itself, the cost, and what time you should arrive. So again, mark that calendar. I will be there. Hope to see you as well. But on that note, as an instructor, what is it that you actually show in a gathering like that? When you're in front of a bunch of people you don't necessarily know, some faces you may recognize if you do go to seminars on a regular basis, or maybe it's your first time being invited to teach in front of a seminar. It's a bunch of strangers, a bunch of different people from different backgrounds and different levels of proficiency, not to mention the differences in the arts themselves. Some of them are completely brand new. Some have no experience whatsoever in what you do, and others are, well, probably a lot better than you are. There's definitely a lot of knowledge that goes around, and people are always willing to share. But at the end of the day, if you find yourself in front of this group with X amount of time to show something, what do you show? How do you decide what would be important enough to get across to those students that you may or may not see again? They may come back next year. They may join your school because of this demonstration. You just don't know what the outcome of it is. So do you just show something as basic as you possibly can, something that you've shown 100 times before, that you know the routine backwards and forwards, and you just leave it at that? That is the basic face value of the art itself, because that's what you like to share. Or maybe that is the degree that you've learned it, where you have this demonstration, the same one you always do, and it gives a very clear understanding of what your art actually is about. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point that some people go to these things to do, is to advertise. It's a form of advertisement to your school and your art, and that's all it is. So that's the effort you put into it. Maybe it's something else. Maybe there's a different drive. Maybe you really want to show how different your art is, so you do something a bit more intricate, a bit more flashy, to say. Not just the basic stuff, not just the things that other people have seen in other places, but the reality of what your art is about. You really want to get that message across to people, and you want them to see the effectiveness. You want to see maybe the lethality, or you just really want to engage the public and give them a great show, and at the same time giving a true essence of what your art is about. It's a tough call because you can only really do it once, and if you get invited back, depending on the reaction that the people have, whether people enjoy it, whether people don't enjoy it, that's going to be a whole different topic altogether after the fact. So where do you make this choice? How do you then decide what to go with? And I guess the most basic answer of that is, well, what is your school about? What is it that you actually try to teach? Is it self-defense? Is it stick and knife? Is it empty hands? Is it striking? And what are the elements then that you have to consider in reference to that? Because sure, you can go into your routine for somebody who's kind of a mid-level, and that routine would be great for them, but they also have other backgrounds. So in your class, in your school, that works out great. But what about half of the people there at a convention or at a seminar that have no idea what you do and have never trained anything similar to it? How do you reach those people? Or does it really not matter, because maybe the importance of a seminar is just to show up for a friend, just to be there because you were invited, and the outcome of it is whatever it's going to be? Now, that's the mentality of some people. For me, it's kind of hard to choose, because some days you don't feel like sharing a lot more, other days not so much. But as an instructor, I always want to do the best that I can, and I always want to improve, which means making mistakes along the way. So while I don't expect not to make any mistakes, I also do want to engage everybody, no matter the level that they're in, whether they're advanced, whether they're new to it, whether they've never picked up a stick or a knife before. I want them to take something significant away from them. Not because I want them to remember my school in particular, it's because I genuinely want to share the knowledge that I have, because I do believe in it. I do believe in what I do. I do believe in what I teach. And I wholeheartedly think that it is useful information. But we've talked about that, right? We've talked about the idea of information and how useful it is, because ultimately it's going to be to the receiver, the person who takes that information and does something with it. Then it's useful. The person could take that information and do nothing with it, then it was just hopefully fun, at least. And that's sort of the criteria in my head as to what I'm going to show, and more importantly, how I'm going to show it. Now, I have a general idea of what I'm going to do and what I'm going to teach, and maybe even how I'm going to go about teaching it. But the truth of the matter is, like it is in any engagement with other people, whether it's sharing information or fighting, you really don't know what that outcome is going to be. You don't know if what you're doing or what you hope to do is going to be enough to get you out of that situation in a favorable light, whether it's getting out of a fight or looking good in front of a bunch of people that are going to judge the hell out of you for saying what you said. Because that happens also. And then, not to mention, at these seminars you usually have a bunch of other instructors, grandmasters and senior grandmasters, that aren't necessarily on the floor participating, but they're definitely on the sidelines paying attention to what you're saying. Now, for those of you who haven't experienced that, it's a little nerve-wracking, to say the least, because yeah, these are the people you respect and you look up to, and you really hope to make a good impression in front of them. And that's not always the case. And they don't necessarily go ahead and tell you whether you did or didn't, because more often than not, they're very polite and will say something positive. My instructor, however, isn't one of those people. He will flat out tell me that I sucked and that I did something horribly wrong, which I actually appreciate, because then at least I know that there is room for improvement. But I have a general idea of what I want to teach, but as I get closer to the day, or more importantly, as I arrive there on the day of, it's going to tell me how I need to augment what I'm going to teach. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you play to the crowd. I mean, in a sense, we are performing in front of people. Sure, we believe in the information, and we earn that privilege, because I do believe it's a privilege to be able to share your work in front of other people at the request of another individual, the person who's hosting, Mike Cardenas in this particular case, who was very kind to ask me to do this, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. So it definitely is a privilege that I am not taking for granted, and I really want to do a good job. So as I arrive on the day of, depending on amount of people that are there, depending on the type of people that are there, how many people are new, how many people move well, how many people, all these factors will then affect how much I'm going to show and to what degree I'm going to show it. Because again, I want to play to the crowd as a good performer, as a good instructor. I want to make sure that I can manage what I'm saying and what I'm sharing so it fits a majority of the people. So a majority of the people are able to then use and perform it. Now, do I expect them to remember everything that I say or what I teach? Not at all. I think that is very improbable and impractical to expect that from them. I'm not trying to change their lives. I just want to open their minds just a bit so they can take all that information, and not just from me, but all the other instructors that are going to be there that particular day, and turn it into something useful for them. We all know that our own ideas and our own thoughts are going to affect the way that we perceive things, the way that we understand information. Taking that into account, I don't want to give them something to say, oh, this is specifically how you do this is how you respond to that. It's just ideas. It's one possibility out of so many. So then what is the important key element? Well, the concepts. Where is the mentality and the why behind why I do the things that I do, the way that I go about doing them, and the way that I go about teaching them? I would prefer that to be what they take away. So maybe that's where my focus should be, on making sure that the whys behind it, why the Bladed Mind Ronin does what it does, comes across very clearly throughout the time that I have as the instructor in front of the class. And hopefully it becomes useful to them. And if not, I at least hope to be entertaining and engaging enough that they enjoy themselves, because ultimately we go to these seminars to have fun. Yes, we go there to have fun. I know I do. I love them, and I want to keep going to them as much as possible. And if I get to teach in front of them, awesome. I look forward to it regardless of where I am as a student or as an instructor. Probably both. But I hope to see you there, and I hope that you guys enjoy your time, whether it's with me or the other instructors. Either way, it's going to be a great time. So please note the date, November 15th, Saturday, Manteca, and I hope to see you there. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Until then, 3, 2, 1, cut!